stability across parts of the Sahel in West Africa. Together, we will continue supporting regional and continental efforts aimed at achieving lasting peace. At the international level, we remain committed to multilateralism, international law, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. We will continue working together as Namibia and South Africa to advance the reform of the global governance institutions, the United Nations Security Council, and others, so that they better reflect contemporary realities and Africa's rightful place within the international community. Your Excellency, migration remains a shared continental challenge requiring shared continental solutions. South Africa remains committed to ensuring and enforcing its immigration laws fairly, firmly, and consistently, while upholding the constitutional values and human dignity that define our democracy. We believe that sustained dialogue, enhanced border cooperation, orderly labor mobility, and inclusive economic development remain the most effective long-term responses to migration pressures across our continent. South Africa is not alone in having to deal with the challenge of migration. I know that a number of other countries in our own region are also having to deal with this challenge. Finally, Your Excellency, our generation has inherited from those who came before us a relationship built through sacrifice and sustained through trust. Our responsibility is to leave to the future generations a partnership that is even stronger, one that delivers opportunity, prosperity, and hope to every citizen of South Africa and Namibia. May this fourth session of our Binational Commission be remembered not simply for the agreements we conclude, but for the momentum that we will generate and the future that we will build together. It is therefore my great honor to declare the fourth session of the South Africa-Namibia Binational Commission officially open. I thank you all, and all of those from Namibia, you are most welcome.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and co-chair of this summit, honorable ministers from the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Namibia, Your Excellencies, the High Commissioners of Namibia and the Acting High Commissioner of South Africa, senior officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me from the onset to thank you, Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, and through you, the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa, for exceptionally warm welcome and generous hospitality extended to me and the Namibian delegation since we arrived in Pretoria. Yes, we are always home, as it's always a great pleasure to visit this sister republic, a country with which Namibia's destiny has been intertwined long before our two nations raised their flags of independence and freedom. The city of Pretoria holds a chapter of our own liberation struggle in its streets. It was here in Pretoria that our compatriot, Antima Toivoya Toivo, together with 36 other Namibians, stood trial under the Notorious Terrorism Act for singular offense of demanding that Namibia determine its own future. It was also here too that President Nelson Mandela and his comrades stood trial in the Rivonia trial, refusing to trade their principle for their freedom. Two people tried on the same soil by the same system for the same crime of imagining themselves free. In his memory, we know tomorrow, 18th July 2026, we observe an International Nelson Mandela Day designated by the United Nations in 2009. As we commemorate his extraordinary legacy, let us dedicate the 6-7 minutes to save others, symbolizing the 6-7 years President Mandela devoted to the struggle for justice, equality, and human dignity. It is a reminder that each of us has the power to make a meaningful and lasting difference in the lives of others. As President Nelson Mandela so profoundly reminded us, and I quote, "It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it," end of quote. May we honor his legacy, not only with our words, but through our action, compassion, and unwavering commitment to building a more just, peaceful, and inclusive societies. That common history, Comrade President, is the reason this Binational Commission exists. While political freedom was attained and the struggle for total emancipation of our people require us to deliver tangible economic benefit for the mutual benefit of our people. It's for this reason, Comrade President, that our predecessors in 2012 decided to elevate the heads of state bilateral economic meeting to a binational commission to strengthen our cooperation, because as neighbors, we have no choice but to cooperate in good faith, guided by the spirit of good neighborliness and the common goal, good of our people. The late former President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Hage Geingob, put this truly simple, and I quote, "You can choose your friends, but you cannot choose your neighbors." Namibia has never treated that statement as a resignation, but as an instruction to act and cooperate in the spirit of good neighborhood, deliberately and always. Your Excellency, it is in that same spirit of good neighborliness that President Mandela and President Sam Nujoma came together and declared that we should urgently address the question of the Orange River boundary, which has been the subject of discussion between our two countries for over the decades without conclusion. I'm happy during this summit, we are expecting a report which you are going to consider, which will be presented by ministers responsible for the political, diplomatic, and legal committee as they were directed at the 2017 summit, and we have learned they met in Swakopmund in October 2024. The report of the Joint Committee will be presented to this Binational Commission Summit for consideration. As the late founding president of Namibia, Dr. Sam Nujoma, once said, "An opportunity should always be for the future generation," end of quote. It's my hope that this summit will be remembered as the moment we honored that instruction and brought this matter to its rightful conclusion, thus closing the chapter of decolonization in our region for the benefit of not only our generation, but also future generation. Your Excellency, At this stage, I would like to thank our ministers and officials for the quality of their work in preparing for this summit, and I look forward to its success. It's my hope that we will leave this summit with realistic, implementable decisions that serve our people better. Your Excellency, allow me also to express Namibia's and me personally our gratitude for the 100 million Rand Presidential Drought Relief Project, which is being used to install boreholes across Namibia. This is a clear testimony to the deep bond of unity, mutual support, and shared responsibility that continue to underpin our bilateral relations and cooperation. With Namibia once again in the grasp of the El Nino-induced drought, that joint technical team of our two countries responsible for steering the implementation of this project conducted a site visit in the Oshkoto, Hangwena, and Zambezi regions of Namibia between the 1st and the 6th June 2026. The purpose was to finalize the modernization of the completion of the project with the remaining 27 million Rand earmarked for the second phase. With great appreciation, Your Excellency, I'm looking forward to the completion of the remaining boreholes identified for installation in specific region. By expanding access to clean, reliable water in the arid country like Namibia, this project strengthens livelihood and reaffirms our responsibility to one another. Namibia therefore expresses its profound gratitude to you, Your Excellency, and to the people of Namibia. Como President, we have identified several high-impact priority areas for consideration during this summit of the NBNC. These priorities include exploring the possibility of formalizing the proposal to transmit electricity from Angola through Namibia to South Africa. Central to advancing the regional agenda for deeper industrialization, enhancing market integration, and sustainable economic growth and development is the development of reliable and interconnected energy infrastructure, which remains indispensable for accelerating regional integration and unlocking the productive potential of our economy. I would therefore propose to you, Como President, that as part of this binational commission decision, we mandate our two ministers responsible for energy to engage their Angolan counterpart to formalize the proposal to transmit electricity from Angola through Namibia to South Africa. Regarding cooperation in other areas like clean energy or nuclear energy, Namibia welcomes the idea. However, I might inform that Namibia is only now working on its legal framework for nuclear energy. Once the policy and the legal framework are in place, we will have a clear path for cooperation on the subject. Como President, while we appreciate the global efforts to discuss climate change, we in Namibia also acknowledge that all countries are not at the same level of development. Hence, the codification of the principle of common but differentiated responsibility under international environmental agreement. This principle continues to inform us approaching to the development of our oil and gas industry in Namibia that Your Excellency have referred to, and working together, it will definitely benefit both our countries. And we'll do that while we remain cognizant of our responsibility as a state to contribute to the global efforts to address climate change. Your Excellency, Namibia welcomes the decision by our heads of state at the 9th SACU Summit in Cape Town in June 26 to accelerate the conclusion of the Reimagining SACU agenda. We do not view this as a technical exercise for officials alone, but as a question of whether our customs union will remain fit to shield the economics of SACU from global trading environment that is increasingly unpredictable. Namibia looks forward to working with South Africa and the rest of SACU member states to ensure that reimagining SACU serve the industrialization aspiration of our economies. As we meet here today, Comrade President, however, despite the protection we have put in place for ourselves as a family of nations, the established, respected, rule-based international order is under continued strain. International laws and United Nations Charter need to be strengthened. Your Excellency, Namibia and South Africa remain resolved in supporting one another or working together to be on the side of the people who are still fighting for their self-determination. These are the people of Palestine and Western Sahara. Your Excellency, permit me before I conclude to commend South Africa for its stewardship of the Southern Africa Development Community, first as an interim chair, and from August this year, a full chair. Namibia has every confidence that under South Africa's guidance, our region will advance industrialization, integration, and resilience on the shared interest of all our people. Allow me also, on behalf of the government and the people of Namibia, Comrade President, to extend our warmest wishes to you and the people of South Africa for the forthcoming municipal elections in 4th May 2026. Namibia stands behind the people of South Africa in this democratic exercise, and we believe that the election will be conducted peacefully, as South Africa has always done. Your Excellency, once again, thank you for your hospitality, and I look forward to successful outcome of the 4th session of the Namibia-South Africa Binational Commission. Thank you for your kind attention.